Hello, everybody. Welcome to Around the Jungle. I'm Evan. He's Zach. And the Bengals on Monday Night Football lost again, this time to the Broncos 28-3. Another game where they failed to score any points whatsoever. Um, and it's still a laughing matter, weeks removed from the Vikings game. And some are saying this could be worse than that game. We'll talk about that here in a sec. But before we dive in, make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy, and to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, where we post a bunch of press conference clips and obviously clips from the show. But without further ado, Zach, what were your thoughts on the Bengals 28-3 loss on Monday Night Football against the Broncos?
I think it was truly a laughing stock. Like you said, it was. I mean, I didn't really pay that much attention to the game. It was on, and I watched a pretty good amount of it, but it wasn't like I was like really into it and like really paying attention to what they're doing, because it seemed like every time we had the ball, it was three straight putrid passes and then a punt. And then whenever we were on defense, it was right down the field and a score. So um I think I think my thoughts on this game are really about the same as they were from the Vikings game. So I mean, if you really want to hear a very in-depth review of the current state of Cincinnati Bengals affairs, you can watch the Vikings video because it's kind of the same situation. I think you're looking at a top 5 pick team right now. Um, I think that, in my personal opinion, I think that you can make a case for the Bengals being the worst team in the NFL. Um, there's really not a bright spot. Nothing is going well at all. Um, we can't score. We can't run the ball. We can't throw the ball. Um, I mean, we got in field goal range once. Like we
I think we got in the end zone, in the red zone once.
like are you like I mean, are you kidding? We didn't cross the 50 more than one time the whole game? Like, are you serious right now? Like, I don't know. It's just like hilariously bad at this point, honestly. I am, um, I am like, I guess getting a good comedy show every weekend. I guess that's the word that I'll use. Um, so yeah, I mean, it's pretty funny. Uh, like I said, personally, in my opinion, I think that we are the worst team in the NFL. I know that we had talked about mock drafts and how to turn this burning sack of crap franchise around earlier in the week, and you had said that the Titans are the worst team in the NFL, but I genuinely think that we are. I think we would lose to the Saints. I think we would lose to the Browns. Yeah. Oh yeah, the Browns would just absolutely crap on us right now. It would not. It wouldn't even be a game. We would lose to. I think the Titans would probably get us. I do think that. I mean, this is yeah. I mean, I think you're looking at dang near first overall pick. I mean, this is probably the worst Bengals football that I have seen probably in my entire life, honestly, outside of that 2-15 season that we had the year before we got Joe Burrow. But yeah, I mean, if you don't count that season, I think this might be the worst Bengals football I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's bad when we're heading into week 5 and we're talking about mock drafts already. That's not good. But yeah, my biggest takeaway from this game was, obviously only scoring 3 points is horrible. And the Bengals' last 2 games, so since Joe Burrow has been out, they are being outscored 76-13.
Holy crap. Wow.
Let me just double check my math on that. Yes, 76-13. So that is really bad. That is horrible. Now, granted, 48 of those points came against the Vikings, so over half. But that's still, I mean, only scoring 13 points in 2 games is very bad.
That is, like, beyond abysmal.
Yeah. And it's also bad when you have more penalties than you do first downs in the game. That's pretty bad too. The Bengals had 11 penalties and only 9 first downs, um, compared to Denver's 29 first downs. And so, yeah, I mean, only 125 yards passing, only about 40 rushing yards. Jamar Chase hasn't caught a ball over 10 plus yards in the last 2 games. There's a play where the offensive line where they rush 3, and I don't think either tackle touches anybody, and they just kind of run around and then sack Jake Browning. It's a very funny video. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
So Doucette, speaking of that, Doucette sent me a clip of one play from the game, and he just said, he was just like, "This is all," or how did he word it? Let me just pull it up real quick. What did he say? He said like he basically said like, "This is awful. It looks like they're running a dang screen."
Here's the play. So they just don't touch a single soul on neither
Run
tackle
that back, run it
touches
back, run it back.
neither tackle touches
My God,
anybody. That's like what happens to me when I'm playing NCAA and then I just get scummed by the computer.
they
Um,
rushed 3 guys.
yeah, we had 4 blocking 1, but I digress.
Doucette said, "This
Um,
is foul. It looks like they're running a dang screen."
yeah, pretty much. But yeah, the offense is abysmal. The defense is abysmal. It's all abysmal. And I think my biggest takeaway from
Look at
these
this. This is the video. This is the clip.
I think that actually might have been a screen. I can't remember. There was one screen where they ran and he got immediately tackled. But I'm not entirely sure what play that was. But I was looking at the film and I saw one that I was like, "What in the world?" And I think it was a partial screen. But yeah, that is terrible. Um, So to put in perspective how bad the Bengals have been, through 4 weeks, they are last in total offense, last in total rush offense, 30th in pass offense, 30th in scoring offense, 30th in total defense, 26th in rush defense, 30th in pass defense, 27th in scoring defense, and tied for 26th in turnover margin. So when you say they might be the worst team, the stats back it up. They do. And so I think my biggest takeaway is when we talk about like the most valuable players to a team, I think this just shows how good Joe Burrow is.
Yeah.
Because without him, this team is literally garbage. And with him, they, you know, are borderline playoff team. And, I mean, at this point last year, if he would have got in, people would thought that we could have made a run. And like we've talked about numerous times, it's basically the same exact team. And
Mhm.
so it kind of just shows that how many of the flaws that Joe Burrow just covers just because of how good he is. So I think when we talk about, you know, the most valuable player, I think it has to be Joe Burrow. So
Yeah,
because
100%.
the team is like without him, this team is literally the worst in the NFL when he's not there. And
Like,
so
we're there is a very real possibility that this team has the first overall pick.
And I mean, I don't think if you take like Josh Allen off the Bills or Lamar off the Ravens, like obviously there's going to be a difference, but I don't think either team just crumbles into like just a high school level football
Yeah,
team,
I was gonna say a borderline NFL team.
Yeah. But not to discredit anything that either of those guys do because they're obviously amazing. But I think it just shows that like it's Joe Burrow, and when he's not there, it's the Bengals that we know and love that are just horrible.
Yeah, pretty
And
much.
so it shows just how good he is and how good how valuable he is to the team. But yeah, I'm with you. I really wasn't. I'm kind of checked out if we're
Yeah.
being honest. I'm not really like intently watching anymore. Here's also a funny stat: does your offense have more yards than your punter does? The only team that doesn't is the Bengals. So that just
How is
sums up,
that
you know, how
possible?
that just sums up how bad everything is.
So, I mean, uh, obviously this week's not gonna be any better because the Lions are coming.
No, we're gonna get decimated this week. It's gonna be like the Vikings game again.
Yeah, yeah, it could be worse, honestly. I think the Lions are pretty good. So this is gonna be
We're gonna have Penny Sewell's gonna score 3 touchdowns against us.
yeah, this is going to be I I mean, we're gonna come back on here next Wednesday, and it's gonna be like I mean, we're just gonna be laughing our butts off the entire time talking about plays that we saw in the game. It's gonna be really bad. So, like
Before the season started, we were thinking about throwing $100 to go to this game. So I'm
oh,
glad that we didn't
yeah.
buy those tickets
Yeah,
early.
I'm not no. Yeah, no, not happening. So, like, what do we think the chances are that, like well, first of all, do we think that Zach Taylor's out? I mean, I realize we had this discussion last week, and it's all like it's only been a week since we last had that discussion, but the results from that Broncos game were pretty much the same that we got against the Vikings. So, I mean, where do we stand? Like, I mean, are we in the same spot? Are we just like the seat is warming, or are we
Yeah,
like now out?
we're teetering on the out. We're getting very close.
Yeah.
I mean, for a guy who's supposed to be an offensive coach
Mhm.
to only score 13 points in 2 games, now I know he can't play on the field, but like, um, I just feel like, you know, and I've always had a gripes with his play calling at times, but I feel like with Jake Browning, like it just hasn't, like the offense has just been literally nothing, like
Yeah.
completely stagnant. And like Jamar Chase isn't getting the ball, which I mean that's not Zach's fault. That's Jake Browning's fault for like not throwing him the ball a lot.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you're a coach, like you just scheme plays to get them open, you know.
Yeah.
And I think a thing that we when we watched the film, I think it was when we watched the Vikings film, we noticed a lot that you know Zach tends to run a lot of deep routes,
Mhm.
and so it felt like it was, oh, third down, let's chuck a fade to T. Higgins and throw it out of bounds, or, you
Yeah.
know, let's throw a deep post to Jamar when he's triple coveraged, you know, or like stuff like that. And
We're
so,
just running dumb crap. Like
yeah, so I mean, I feel like, I'm mainly, my biggest gripe with him is offensively because I feel like offensively, even without Joe Burrow, we're at least competent. Like, you
yeah,
know, we
we
have
have
Jamar Chase,
some
who's the best receiver in the NFL. We have T. Higgins, who's insane. Chase Brown was really good. And yes, the offensive line is playing putrid right now, but like you would think we would be able to get into the end red zone more than like one time a game, you know? Like, I don't think Jake Browning is that horrible to where he just can't get a team up and down the field. Now, I know that you've played against, you know, Minnesota and why am I blanking? And the
Denver.
Broncos, who are two of the better defenses in the league. But still, you know, I just think as an offensive head coach, for your offense to be this terrible is genuinely shocking to me. And I think that he's kind of losing the locker room a little bit. We saw his big spat with Jamar Chase on the
Mhm.
sideline. And you know, I watch all the press conferences, and he kind of just repeats himself constantly,
Yeah.
and says like, you know, teams go through adversity. This is just something we have to get through, and you know, like we'll get through it and all this stuff. And it's like, well, yeah, teams go through adversity, but teams don't look this bad, you
Yeah,
know.
this is, like, really bad.
Yeah, and so and then I mean, and yes, it goes back to the front office and stuff like that as well. But I just think he's just not getting anything out of the players right now, and I think it's obviously on the players and on him as well. But like you said, I just think the play calling is just very stale, and I just think he's getting out coached every pretty much every game.
Yeah.
And especially in this game, when you have 11 penalties, to me that shows that they weren't prepared and that that they're undisciplined, and that
Yeah,
goes on to the coach.
I think, like, mental like, just egregious mental errors and, like, an excessive amount of penalties like that, I think that falls back on, like, coaching more than maybe even more than, like, other things do, you know, because that just shows straight up that you're not prepared, and it shows that you're not I mean, yeah, just saying you're not prepared, that's really what it is. You're not prepared, and you're playing undisciplined. Like, that is something that should never happen, you know? Like, you can not execute and, crap can hit the fan because you don't execute, you whiff blocks or you whiff assignments, crap like that. But if you're just getting, like, flags left and right and just stupid, like, offsides or false starts or illegal formation, like, just crap like, that should never happen, you know? Like, that should just never happen. And I think that is a I think when crap like that starts to happen, I think that usually is a pretty big sign that things are going south within the locker room from, like, the coaching to team standpoint, you know? Or, like, especially, like, when, like, players are playing undisciplined or there's, like, no motivation or there's no energy and pep in their step. That's when I think it's like, okay, like, these guys aren't really showing up to play for the coach, like, it's just something's off here,
Yeah. And I think if you look at, Zach's whole 7-year tenure with the Bengals, he obviously hit the peak of going to the Super Bowl. And then, since that, it's been just gradually downhill. I mean, we went to the AFC Championship the next year, but then, 2 consecutive 9-8 seasons. And this year, we're talking about a potential top 5 pick. And so it goes back to what I said last week, where it's a what have you done for me now league, and what he's done is really not much. And, I feel like the excuses are kind of running out for him because he has these talented players. He has one of the best quarterbacks. Yes, he's been hurt for 2 of those years, but like you should be able to overcome that type of stuff, like obviously, nobody thought that Jake Browning was going to come in and we were going to win 11 games and all that stuff, but it shouldn't be. I mean, these are all NFL players. So when you lose a guy, it shouldn't just be like, oh, the team is just completely inept at working,
Yeah.
like, so I think that's a thing to look at too, is from like his whole career as a Bengal. It's kind of trending downward. Um, but if we know anything about the Bengals, he's probably not going anywhere. But
Yeah.
but
That's
we were already talking about potential coaching candidates already
yeah.
for him the other
Yeah.
day.
And there's some guys out there that I think would be pretty decent to, fill the spot. I mean, yeah, I guess like you said, it's the Bengals, so I think really no matter what needs to be done, probably I mean, if we get to the end of the season and like we genuinely go like 2-15 and we are just like an absolute pile of crap for the whole season, like and we all come to the unanimous conclusion that he needs to be fired. Even at that, I mean, do you really think they get rid of him?
I think we talked about this. I don't know if we talked about it last week or a little bit before, but they are kind of changing in their ways a little bit.
A little bit.
Like they're paying players and all that stuff, but it's still not where they should be. So
Yeah.
I do think there's a chance. Yeah, I mean, if he literally loses 15 straight games, I would find it hard to believe that they're gonna keep him.
Yeah, yeah, like, if we actually finish 2-15, then I think
Yeah,
he's probably gone, but
but I mean, it might just be it might have just ran its course, and it might just be time for a change. And that I mean that happens. I mean, Mike Vrabel was a really good coach for the Titans, and it just got to the point where they were kind of trending downward, and they just needed to change, and so they got rid of them. And
It ain't
um,
much
you
better right
know,
now, but
yeah, but I mean, it happens.
yeah.
Teams fire really good coaches just because. And not to say that Zach is like an insane head coach, but I'm just saying like teams fire coaches that have been there for a long time just because sometimes it just runs its course. But um, but
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. If the team continues to look like they have, when the season continues to trend how it has, I would be surprised if he's the head coach next year.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. It has been pretty ugly. So, I mean,
Yeah,
it's been like I said, it's been like it's been like a comedy show every weekend, but we're not winning any football games. So,
yeah. Let's go through their schedule and see how many games we think they're going to win for the rest of the season.
okay.
So we have the Lions this week. That's a
That's
loss.
an L. Yep.
The Packers the following week. That's a loss.
L.
At home against the Steelers on Thursday night.
That's going to be a loss.
It's probably a loss. At home against the Jets. I think we can beat the Jets. They're 0-4 right now.
That could be a winnable game. So,
I would
one.
say that's the most winnable game out of the last three.
Yeah.
At home against the Bears.
Loss.
Then at Pittsburgh.
Loss.
It's probably a loss. At home against the Patriots. It's probably that could go either way,
That's probably a loss.
but probably a loss. And then we have at Baltimore, at Buffalo, at home against Baltimore. Those are all three
3
losses.
straight losses.
Then at Miami could be a win
That could be a win.
because
We'll
Miami
get
always sucks at the end of the
we'll
season
throw
and
them
without
both.
Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
All right. And then at home against Arizona, that also could be a win. I would think we should be able to beat the Cardinals. They're pretty bad.
I don't know. They got a win
At
last
home,
week.
too.
All right, fine. We'll give them that one.
That's a toss up.
Yeah.
Right now ESPN has that as a 50-50, so it's a literal toss up.
I'll give it to the. I'm gonna give it to the Cardinals. I watched the Cardinals play last week. I think they showed a lot of fight.
So what are we at? 4 wins right now?
Yeah,
And then at home against the Browns for the last game of the
that's a
season.
loss.
Oh, we had 4-13. So yeah, that'll get you a top 5 pick for sure.
That might get you the first pick,
Potentially.
maybe second. I don't know. I guess it depends what the Titans do.
Yeah, but I mean we're definitely gonna lose probably 3 straight.
Uh-huh.
And I think we could beat the Jets, the Bears, and the Steelers. Again, those are tough games. And then we're going on another 3-game spell. We're against the Ravens and the Bills, where we're losing. And then I think we could maybe squeeze 2 to 3 wins in those last 3 games, depending on how we look.
Yeah.
But I'm saying like the ceiling for this team is probably like 6,
Yeah.
probably like 6 wins.
Yeah. I think that's the ceiling. I don't think we're getting anywhere further than 6. I think 6 would be like that's the max we're winning. I think the lowest would be 2.
They lose the next 15 games.
Lose out.
But and of course, it's like the season we start off 2-0. We have a semi-fast start. The season where the Ravens don't look very good. Like the AFC North is more wide open than it has been recently, and of course, we're just god awful.
Crap hits the fan, and we are genuinely one of the worst teams in the NFL.
Yeah, like literally, like we could, if we were at full, if like Burrow was here, and we were at like actually like looked decent. Like if we put last year's team this year with the way that the AFC North is looking, we could probably win the division.
Yeah,
Us
there
and
is a chance of that. Yeah,
I think there would be more of a chance of that. Because I mean, Lamar's gonna be out for 2 to 4 weeks, I think, and they're 1-3,
yeah,
so they have their own issues. But yeah, it's like of course when there's like a window or an
yeah.
opening is when we're just terrible.
It's an opening for the Steelers.
Yeah, they're gonna go 10-7 and win the division. All right, I'm sure the Ravens will win it.
The Ravens will rebound probably.
they'll come back to being good, I'm sure. But
Yeah, I think they'll beat them.
um, an interesting comment that Zach Taylor made at his press conference today. They asked him about, if they're going to be bringing in any quarterbacks. We talked about that last week, and he said that he does not believe that will happen. He said he has unwavering confidence in Jake Browning. What do you think about that?
I mean, he's clearly not been good, but on the same hand, I think we touched on this last week. Is it really worth us going out and getting a quarterback? Because this team is like flaming hot, like garbage. Like this is a really, really, really abysmal football team. So like, is it even worth going out and getting a quarterback? Like I think
Yeah.
you just cut your losses and get a top 5 pick.
Yeah, I think if they were to explore options and bring one in, I think the offense would look better, but I don't think it would come to like a lot more wins. I just think the offense would look more like an actual NFL offense.
Yeah,
And I feel like for example, Russell Wilson or Jameis Winston, those are the two like biggest names. I feel like they would be able to get the ball to Jamar Chase pretty frequently.
yeah,
Um, but I'm not going to sit here and say if Jameis Winston or Russell Wilson get traded to the team that they're going to become a playoff team and sneak in. I just don't think that's going to happen. I think it might look better and the stats will probably look better, but I don't think it's going to really improve the win margin that
yeah,
significantly because, I mean, Russell Wilson was okay in Pittsburgh and it was, I mean, already got benched 3 weeks into the season. And
yeah.
Jameis Winston, he's known for throwing 5 touchdowns and 5 picks. So, I mean, that really doesn't help that much. So, I don't know. It's just a bad situation.
It is. It may be the worst. I mean, yeah. I just don't really. I mean, in my personal opinion, I just don't really know if it's worth it. Because like you said, it's not like we plug and play Russell Wilson or Jameis Winston. We're gonna be making a playoff push. I mean, it's just not gonna happen. This team sucks. Like this team is just like freaking like just complete dog water. So I don't know if it's really worth it. You'd just be wasting picks because I'm sure you'd probably
Yeah.
trade picks.
Yeah, probably.
So you'd just be wasting draft picks at that point. I mean, we'll waste them anyways next year, but but I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I was watching James Rapine was talking about the game on his show and he opened, which I thought was funny. He was like, the Bengals might suck. I thought that was
Really?
funny. I thought that was funny.
That's
Um,
a great observation.
yeah.
It's like the worst team in the NFL.
Yeah. So, we'll
What
be
can
right
you do?
back here this time next week talking about another 30, 40 point loss. Hopefully we score more than 3 points, but wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised if we don't.
Yeah.
Um,
What are you gonna do if we go the next if we go so from like if we go 5 straight weeks of scoring 3 points, what do we do?
you have to just burn it down. You have to fire Zach Taylor, fire Dan Pitcher. You probably just have to cut Jake Browning. Like just if you legitimately do not score a touchdown for like 5 straight games, I don't know if that's ever happened. I'm sure it has, but
If
I mean
we
that's
like
next level bad.
if
If you
we
just
just
do not
like
score a touchdown.
we get like in field goal range once per game for the next 5 weeks.
Well, in the field goal that they kicked, I mean, it was like a 25-yard field goal, so you might as well just go for it at that point.
Yeah, you're
Like that
not
doesn't
winning,
really
so you might as
help
well just
you.
go for it. Honestly, if
Yeah.
I was Zach Taylor right now, I would be the most aggressive coach in the NFL. This team
Yeah.
sucks. We're not going anywhere. We're probably not going to win the game. So you might as well never punt, never kick a field goal. Go for it every single time because it
Well,
does not
guess what?
matter.
Guess what he did last week? He punted on 4th down and with 2 minutes left in the game, down by 25. Like, who cares? Go
He's
for
just
it.
like, all right, we'll punt it. Just
Like,
punt, punt it
that
away.
to me just shows that he's just like defeated and just giving up.
Yeah, like at that point, you literally are just giving up at that point. You're just like, all right, we're just gonna punt it. Like you're waving the white flag. Like I mean, at least be aggressive right now. Like we're not going anywhere. It does not matter whatsoever in the slightest. You could go for it every 4th down. You could go for 2 every time you score. You could never kick a field goal. You could onside kick every single kickoff, never punt. I mean, it does not matter. It doesn't matter at all. We're going to lose anyway, so you might as well just basically say, like, you might as well just not even have special teams anymore. Like, just go for everything every time.
So basically, just play how you play in Madden,
Yeah,
just
pretty much.
never punt, go for 2, onside kick every time.
Like, there's no point. There's no point even playing. The only special teams that we should be playing for the remainder of this season is punt return and kick return. Like, we should never be punting or kicking field goals. like,
Yeah.
I like I don't know. I'm just saying. I think that we should see the most aggressive version of Zach Taylor. Because who cares? It does not matter at all. Like, we're going to lose anyways. But if by some miracle things go well and the stars align, then we could get a win because of the aggression. You know?
Maybe once we play the Lions this week, some of Dan Campbell's mind will rub off, and we'll start being extremely aggressive and going for it every single time.
I mean, I think that we should be like I think that we should be so aggressive to the point where it is like viewed as like unsportsmanlike. Like that is the level of aggression that I should be seeing out of Zach Taylor and this Bengals team. like
Yeah.
like that freaking meme of Dan Campbell with the wheelbarrow and his balls in there. That should be Zach Taylor from here on out. like,
Yeah.
that's just my opinion. Whatever. He ain't gonna do it. We'll punt on
No,
4th
probably
down
not.
and we'll play it safe and we'll lay down and give the white flag every week, particularly this week because we're going to lose by, I believe, 70 points this week.
Yeah, it's probably going to be pretty ugly.
Dude, what would you say if we come back on here next Wednesday and the final score of this Lions game is like 72-0?
That would be terrible. I mean, I'm pretty. I'm gonna look. What are the Lions' point per game average? It's crazy.
I wonder if that's ever happened in the NFL. Like, has anybody ever lost like 70-0?
So the Lions lead the league in points per game with 34.3,
Okay.
and we are 30th with 15. So, I mean, yeah, they very well could. Very well. I'm probably projecting. Like, if you were to give me a score prediction, I would say that it's gonna be 48-3 or 48-10 again. It's gonna be that bad.
I think that it would be genuinely hilarious though if it was like 70-0. if we,
70-0 would be crazy.
if we
If we
walk
lose 70-0, Zach Taylor better not be stepping in that press conference on Monday. That's a fireable offense. If you lose
yeah.
70, I don't care that the Lions are a really good team. I feel like in any sport, if you lose 70-0, you should not have a job. I could go out there and lose 70-0. I could stand on the sideline and call out plays and lose and, just get my butt kicked.
Yeah, that would be a fireable offense, but I do think it'd be really funny though if we sit there and we watch that game and we come back here on Wednesday next week and the final score from Sunday was 70-0.
We might have to just change the type of videos we start doing
Yeah. Start
because we're
talking
just
about
gonna
a
be
different team or something.
yeah, we'll just, like, only talk about, Ohio State or something
Yeah. Just
on
completely
a Bengals
rebrand.
show, just not talk about the Bengals.
Yeah, if we lose 70 to nothing, then our show next week has to just be like,
Or
all right, we're gonna be rebranding from here on out to Ohio State.
it'll just be, we're just gonna do, like, 20 mock drafts this season because we're gonna be doing mock drafts in week 5.
Yeah, we should just do a mock draft every week for the show. I mean, if we lose 70 to nothing, that is it.
If we lose
Yeah,
70 to nothing, I genuinely don't know if I would be able to, like, even say anything. Like, if you asked me, like, "What are your thoughts on the game?" I'd be like Shador Sanders today. Did you see that?
he was like speechless, wasn't he?
He was, like, miming. He was like I was like, "What the heck?" That would be me. I'd
Yeah,
be like,
I'd just be like,
at this point,
I don't really have
burn
much
it to
for
the
you after that.
ground.
That was a rough one.
But yeah, well, let's hope that it isn't 70-0. It's not gonna be pretty, and we're gonna come back here next week and, pretty much talk about the same stuff because I feel like if you consistently watch our videos, we say the same thing every single time.
Because like,
Just different wording,
there's
but
nothing
there's
new, and
not
it's
much else
like
to say,
it's
I
just, I
mean,
mean, like
there's nothing interesting about this team.
you're beating a dead horse every single year with this team. It's the same crap. Putrid ownership leads to poor performance on the field. I mean, it really is the same stuff. But
Yeah,
it has been particularly bad within the last year or so. Like, we've literally have just been saying the same stuff every week because there's nothing else to
yeah.
say.
We might have cursed the Bengals franchise by starting this channel because ever since then, I think we've maybe said like one positive thing about them the entire time, and they've been pretty bad since we started this.
They
So,
have been just heinous, abominable since we've started.
we might be the problem. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I don't know. I don't know.
But that's going to wrap it up for us today. Hope you guys enjoyed our ranting and talking about how bad the Bengals continue to be. And we'll be back next week for the same thing. But thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe. We would really appreciate it. And we'll see you guys next week for another beatdown against the Detroit Lions. See you guys.